The Panama Canal is a 48-mile canal that connects the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans, facilitating international marine trade. France was the first to begin construction of the canal in 1881, but it was stalled until the United States proceeded from 1904 to 1914. Today, it is regarded as one of the finest engineering feats of the 20th century. In 1514, Vasco Núñez de Balboa was the first European traveler to discover the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans were only divided by a thin isthmus in Panama. His finding prompted other investigations on streams that may connect the two seas. In 1534, the Holy Roman Emperor, Charles V, ordered a survey to investigate the feasibility of establishing a waterway on the isthmus, but the surveyors decided that constructing a ship canal was unfeasible. The 48-mile-long international canal lets commerce ships to sail between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans without passing via Cape Horn, located near South America's southern point, saving 8,000 miles of journey time and avoiding harsh waters. Panama is located in Central America, between Costa Rica and Colombia. It has boundaries with both the Caribbean Sea and the Pacific Ocean. The canal extends from Limon Bay to the Atlantic Ocean. Because of the isthmus's east-west direction, ships go from northwest to southeast through the canal. Crossing the canal might take between 8 and 10 hours. Colombia gave Lucien Napoleon Bonaparte Wise, a French adventurer, the rights to develop the canal in 1878. However, he decided to sell his rights to a French corporation that had built Egypt's Suez Canal. The enterprise, commanded by Ferdinand de Lesseps, began building of the canal but faced significant difficulties due to engineering issues and tropical illnesses that killed several workers. Panama's excavation was more challenging than the Suez Canal's. During this time, Lesseps recruited Gustave Eiffel to build canal locks, but the enterprise went bankrupt. The corporation was charged with fraud and mismanagement and found guilty in 1893. Since the 1800s, the United States have been seeking for a location to build a canal connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans for commercial and military purposes. Initially, the growing nation saw Nicaragua as a more viable option than Panama. However, thanks to the efforts of a French engineer called Philippe Jean Bonavarilla, American senators were convinced that Panama was safer than Nicaragua since it had deadly volcanoes. By 1902, the United States Congress approved the purchase of French canal holdings in Panama. However, Colombia, of which Panama was then a part, refused to ratify a deal authorizing the building of the U.S. Canal. Panamanians rose against Colombia and eventually obtained independence, thanks to U.S. help. After then, U.S. Secretary of State John Hay and Bonavarilla represented Panama's temporary administration. In the 1903 pact, the French holdings were purchased for $40 million, Panama received $10 million, and America was granted the right to build. Between 1904 and 1913, around 5,600 laborers died while building the canal as a result of common illnesses such as malaria and yellow fever, as well as accidents. The Panama Canal was completed in 1914, but it was formally inaugurated in 1920 by U.S. President Woodrow Wilson. The canal has ports at either end, Cristobal on the Caribbean Sea and Balboa on the Pacific Ocean. It is 70 meters, 200 feet, broad by 20 meters, 75 feet. Approximately 61 million pounds of dynamite were utilized during the construction. The canal's lock chambers are 110 feet wide and 1,000 feet long, with door locks weighing 750 tons. Instead of pumps, valves are utilized to transfer water from higher to lower elevations. To transit the canal, ships must pay tolls based on their cargo space. Military ships' tolls are depending on their weight. The Panama Canal is often utilized by the United States, China, Japan, Chile, Colombia, and South Korea. Furthermore, the majority of its traffic flows between the east coast of the United States and the Far East, followed by Europe and the West Coast. Canal pilots are highly educated to take over navigational control of each vessel, guiding it safely through the channel. Since its inauguration, tensions between the United States and Panama have risen due to control over the canal and its surroundings. A Panamanian riot erupted in 1964 after their flag was barred from flying alongside the American flag in the canal zone. Soon after, Panama severed diplomatic relations with the United States until 1977, when U.S. President Jimmy Carter and Panamanian General Omar Torrijos signed a pact. In 1999, the United States relinquished Panama's sovereignty of the canal while retaining the ability to use military action to protect the waterway in the event of a threat to its neutrality. The canal earnings now account for 1/3 of Panama's GDP. The canal has only been blocked twice, first in 1915 due to a landslide and again on December 20, 1989, when the United States invaded Panama. Every year, about 14,000 ships traverse the Panama Canal, generating over $2 billion in income from tolls. In 1928, an American adventurer named Richard Halliburton paid a 36-cent toll to swim across the canal. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with other parents and teachers who are looking for quality educational content for kids.